RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
At the 2-week point, it's kind of, the results really aren't going to mean anything.
A local family frustrated by a delay in COVID-19 test results. We are working to find out what is causing it and what you need to know.
Thousands of Hoosiers are still losing their jobs. Rental assistance is available in Indianapolis. A lot of people need the money. We'll show you what's left and how you can get help.
The strongest storms tonight well to our south. How that changes over the next 24 to 48 hours coming up in my forecast.
Welcome into the news at 6 on this Monday. I'm Mark Mullins at my home studio.
And I'm Amanda Starantino at the WRTV studios. We are still social distancing to help stop the spread of COVID-19. And first at 6, Hoosiers getting tested for COVID-19 may have to wait a little longer than expected to receive their results. Some labs across the country are reporting backlogs as the demand for testing increases. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum spoke with one family who says they've been waiting for 2 weeks now, and their message to you.
The turnaround time for COVID-19 tests may be advertised as 6 to 10 days, but some are finding it takes even longer than that to get results.
We just kind of don't know what to do right now.
Amanda Cook says her daughter went to a CVS in Anderson about 2 weeks ago and got a COVID test after waking up with a sore throat.
In an overabundance of caution, called her employer and explained to them that she had a scratchy throat, so they advised her to stay home and go get a COVID test.
She says that process was smooth.
Very simple to do, got her right in.
But now she says they're stuck waiting on results. Her daughter going almost 2 weeks without being able to work.
Right now it's unpaid. Obviously they are keeping her position open for her. But yeah, she's not getting any pay right now.
She says it's been especially hard on her daughter.
She's a recent college graduate, and her work post-college, she had a contract that already got canceled, so she had to move home and get a part-time job. Now she's not even able to do that.
We reached out to CVS. They tell us patient samples are sent to off-site third-party labs who are then responsible for processing and delivering the results. They said due to an increase in COVID-19 cases in certain areas of the country, there has been an increased demand for tests. That's caused backlogs for the lab. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box addressed the issue at a press conference last week, saying results are taking longer than usual at state-run sites as well. Meanwhile, Cook says they will continue to wait and hope for results soon.
I'm just kind of sad right now because it's weighing on her a lot.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Thanks, Megan. Oxford University scientists say their experimental COVID-19 vaccine has shown in an early trial to prompt a protective immune response in hundreds of people who got the shot. That's a positive step toward a vaccine, but there's still a long way to go. Early trials are designed to evaluate safety and see what kind of immune response was provoked, but cannot tell yet if the vaccine truly prevents COVID-19. And masks are either now required or soon will be in a number of stores. Starting today, masks were required to shop at Walmart, Sam's Club, CVS, and Walgreens stores. On Wednesday, a mask mandate will be in place at Kroger. A mask requirement for Aldi stores starts July 27th, and Target will have their rule in place on August 1st.
The great unknown is for how long will this crisis continue?
COVID-19 is costing some people their lives and others can get really sick, but the virus just doesn't impact physical health. Many have lost their jobs and their income because of the pandemic. Well, the city of Indianapolis can help you with paying rent. The City County Council used $15 million it received from the CARES Act COVID Relief Fund, plus money donated by the Lilly Endowment to help thousands of Marion County residents with rent. RTV6's Stephanie Wade explains what is still available if you need help.
It's not surprising.
Over the course of just 3 days, Indianapolis's rental assistance program received over 10,000 applications for help.
It was Monday, 6,000 of the 10,000 applications came in the first day.
Because of the high volume, the website indyrent.org has moved to collecting now email addresses to be placed on a waiting list until they can fulfill all the applications already submitted. The average household, the deputy mayor says, has been asking for between $1,000 and $1,500.
There are certainly families across our city facing crisis, and some who are now on a waiting list for this program. So we know that even despite our best efforts to size a program that was meaningful, it's not enough to meet the need across the community.
We have to just continue to be hopeful and encourage people to weather this storm.
Eastern Star Church is one of the city's partners helping with outreach. They connected 24 families with the city's rental assistance, but want people to know they too are there and can help with rent and other necessities, even if the city does eventually run out of funds.
COVID has definitely aggravated the disparities that existed. And so we wanted to make sure that individuals were able to get the support that they needed to get back on their feet.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Well, the city is still accepting email addresses to be added to the wait list there. They say that they're also thinking of ways to do a second round with existing funds that they have access to.
New numbers out today give the latest glimpse into how COVID-19 is impacting us here in Indiana. The State Department of Health says there are 658 new COVID-19 cases. That's actually 269 fewer new cases than was reported yesterday. Since the pandemic began in March, 57,206 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. The Department of Health also confirms 3 new COVID-19 deaths in Indiana. That's an increase of 1 death over yesterday. So far, 2,632 people in Indiana have died from the coronavirus. More than 635,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus, and 9% of them tested positive for it. And the state says 36% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using about 10.5% of the ICU beds. Non-COVID-19 patients are using about 53% of the beds. More than 82% of the state's ventilators are also available. And as of yesterday, 805 people were in Indiana hospitals with COVID-19. That's an increase of 19 people from Saturday, when 786 people were in the hospital with the coronavirus. And on Friday, 798 Hoosiers were hospitalized with the virus.
Yesterday, widespread thunderstorms in central Indiana. Some of those were severe and definitely had torrential rainfall. Different story today. We've had lots of clouds, but very little in the way of rain. There's the streaking of one shower. They've kind of diminished in the western portion of Marion County, and they're switching sides. They're on the eastern side of Marion County now, 465 and 70, I-74 and 465, and then up in the Castleton and Geist area. Notice I said showers. No lightning with this. The broader view, the best chance for any thunderstorms would be in the southern third of the state. That's also where storms may be a bit stronger, especially along Interstate 64 and then into Kentucky. The risk for any severe storms is low and closer to the Ohio River through the evening hours. Southern temperatures, 90 in Bedford. It's 84 in Bloomington. Temperatures to the north, upper 70s to low 80s. As we go through the evening hours, will basically be dry. Some thunderstorms start to develop during the day tomorrow. The most likely time for rain and the intensity of the storms, part of the story for tomorrow. That's coming up.
Right now, investigators need your help to find a woman who has been missing for more than a month. Crime Stoppers of Central Indiana is searching for Chanel Gilbert. Investigators tell us Gilbert disappeared sometime after 6 a.m. on June 9th when she went to the 7,000 block of Mars Drive. That's on the west side near South Girls School Road and Rockville Road. According to a news release, Gilbert's phone was pinged to the area and her vehicle was found with her cell phone. However, Chanel Gilbert wasn't there. Investigators say Gilbert's disappearance is very unusual and suspicious. If you think you've seen Chanel Gilbert, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS or call IMPD.
This evening, a tragic development after a large fire burned through a West Side apartment complex last week. We are now learning a 12-year-old boy who was found inside the burning complex by first responders has died from his injuries. Jeremiah Vincent and his mother, Kiana Jones, had been pulled from the building on Lupine Terrace near West 34th Street and I-465 last Wednesday morning. Jones died from her injuries later that day. Vincent died at Riley Hospital for Children on Saturday. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
An IMPD internal investigation is underway after a police shooting killed a man on the city's northeast side. Investigators say officers rushed to North Parker Avenue late Saturday night on a domestic disturbance call. When IMPD officers arrived, they say a man came outside and started shooting at police. Investigators say one officer returned fire and the man went back inside. IMPD says at least 3 homes were damaged from the suspect's gunfire, including a home where police say bullets barely missed a 21-month-old baby who was sleeping. SWAT officers eventually went in the home, and they say the man started shooting at them again. Police shot the man, who later died at the hospital. Police have not yet released that man's name.
More than 500 local workers will be impacted by layoffs at White Lodging Services Corporation, at least for now. The company operates many hotels in the Indianapolis area, including the JW Marriott downtown. A government notice today shows White Lodging Services Corporation is laying off 566 employees in Indy between 2 hotels, including the JW. A JW Marriott spokesperson says COVID-19 has hit the hospitality industry harder than almost any other industry. They say as occupancy builds back up in the future, the company will bring more people back to work. And Hiring Hoosiers is our initiative to make sure you know what careers are available to you. And there are companies hiring right now. Let's look at the job feed. Elements Massage is looking for new employees. The company says you can expand your career in therapeutic massage, and they have open positions. Elements Massage is located at Clearwater Shopping Center on East 82nd Street. The Boone County Economic Development Corporation is holding a virtual job fair this Wednesday from 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. To learn more, click on this post on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. We have a link where you can register for the virtual job fair. And the Jack Laurie Group has posted 5 open positions to our job board at hiringhoosiers.com. They include sports floor installer, commercial ceramic tile installer, cleaning associate, flooring installer, and floor covering apprentice. And you can learn more about these jobs and find many more employment opportunities on the job board at hiringhoosiers.com and on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. COVID-19 fatigue is real. Dealing with this new normal can be stressful and draining. Working for you, our Scripps team finds the ways you can fight this exhaustion and feel less stressed and more refreshed.
Trying to work with a new normal on the UIndy campus. Coming up in sports, we take a look at how fall sports athletes and coaches are making some big adjustments with the hopes of taking the field soon. Kevin.
And I was just looking at this. Our average high is 85. Within 10 days, the average high starts to go back down as we shorten the daylight hours. As you can see, the temperature trend's still above average most of the week. We'll talk about what happens as we get to the weekend. It's getting harder to talk. We'll fix that when we come back.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
And breaking news that could impact your drive. We are continuing to follow this. The right lane of I-65 northbound at the I-70 north split is expected to be closed for about another hour due to a semi-rollover. Again, this semi-rollover is affecting the right lane of I-65 northbound at the north split. Go another way if you can.
The Rebound Indiana is our mission to help you make it through this pandemic. And if you've been feeling down about where you're headed, well, you're not alone.
Tonight, the Rebound's Dan Grossman walks us through how to fight COVID fatigue.
Is anyone tired? Tired of the lack of normalcy, the closed public spaces, the news that we're trending in the wrong direction with this pandemic? COVID fatigue is a real thing, and it's literally affecting billions of people around the world.
That it's a very uncomfortable experience for us as human beings to not have a plan, to not know how is this going to turn out? When is it going to end?
Kay Hermanson is a clinical psychologist at UC Davis Health and compares it to climbing a mountain. You're going up, and just when you think you've hit that peak, you realize it's a false summit and see this daunting hill still lying in front of you. That sinking feeling knowing you've done so much but still have so much farther to go, Hermanson says this second spike in numbers can feel like that.
We're actually hoping for the absence of something, not getting sick, isn't quite as reinforcing as something that happens where we're like, oh, okay, I know I did this behavior and it resulted in this good outcome.
It's internal, where you just kind of feel like you have those sandbags on your shoulders and you can't take another step.
Bob Champy is a licensed clinical social worker and says the feeling is something a lot of us are familiar with. Burnout, the same kind you might feel at work or at home when you're a bit overwhelmed. What makes it worse is a lot of the things we do to alleviate that stress we don't have access to. So it begs the question, what can we do?
The things that we need to do are to be aware of our thinking, to say, I'll control what I can control. I'll take it a minute at a time?
Some people call them bite-sized pieces.
Champion Hermanson say the idea is to make this situation more manageable. Instead of looking at this daunting whole, we break it up into more manageable parts. Small victories that can give us that sense of reinforcement the situation can lack.
It may even be a little bit of learned helplessness, which is that idea that in certain circumstances where we feel like nothing that we do is good enough, nothing that we do keeps bad things from happening, we kind of give up.
Another thing they suggest is adjusting our mindset. Hermanson says the simple knowledge that millions of other people are feeling exactly like us can be enough to help push us through. In Denver, I'm Dan Grossman reporting.
And outside of productive tasks like exercise or hobbies, experts say seeing a therapist can be helpful too. They can help you overcome burnout. And you can find more mental health resources and tips from experts at theindychannel.com/rebound. Kevin.
It's only Monday, but let's talk about the rest of the work week, Tuesday through Friday. So the next 4 days, pretty consistent in this summer pattern. Temperatures mid to upper 80s. We just talked about the fact that 85 is our average high, and a daily chance for thunderstorms in that 40 to 60% probability range. And I think the most likely time will continue to be during the heat of the day into the early overnight hours. Temperatures stay up and the humidity stays up as well. Here are the probabilities for rain, and tomorrow the probability goes up tomorrow night, and then I think peak rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. Not all day rains by any means. I think you just build up to that moment where the thunderstorms develop and move across central Indiana. As we get toward the weekend, things start to change because as temperatures come up, our rain chances will go back down. Temperature tomorrow, about 86 for the high. Thunderstorm may interrupt some of the heating cycle. Thunderstorms are likely as we get to Wednesday and Thursday with temperatures still in that range. The humidity does not change much. 79 in the Indy. That's because we had a rain shower just over the airport and downtown. I'll show you where those are in a second. That's compared to 89 in Bedford, 84 in Terre Haute, temperature in Connersville at 84 degrees. We're all fairly comfortable. We've been to 90 on 9 times this month. And recently, we hit 90 on the weekend on Saturday. Otherwise, yesterday we were kept away because of the thunderstorms. The green of the showers from Carmel over to Geist in McCordsville toward Greenfield on the east side of Indianapolis I-70 and 465. Some sunshine breaks through in the western portion of the state. We'll see these isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm. The best chance for thunderstorms will be in the southern portion of the state. There's the view from the Motor Speedway to downtown. The darker the sky looks, the more emerald green all the trees look as you look over turn 2 at the Motor Speedway. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Thunderstorms developing, especially northern half of the state. A few of these could be strong with heavy rainfall. We'll see a little bit of a break. Then tomorrow night, 9 to 11, possibility of more strong storms as they push from southwest to northeast, and wind would be the main threat for the stronger storms. Here's your 7-day forecast over the next 7 days. Pretty consistent. The change comes over the weekend. Rain chances down, temperatures back up into the low 90s, and that's really Saturday through Monday of next week. Amanda, Mark?
Well, pro sports are making their way back this week, and the NFL teams are starting training camp. Major League Baseball scheduled to open on Thursday.
Yeah, but college sports are still very much up in the air. At the University of Indianapolis, they're taking things one step at a time. Brad Brown has a closer look in our Sports Extra Spotlight.
Slowly and cautiously, the UIndy campus is starting to come back to life as the first group of fall sports athletes are getting back to work.
If we can show that we can fully operate during this time frame, that's going to be a really good footprint to operate with once the fall sports come back.
Scott Young will be taking over as UIndy's Director of Athletics on September 1st. He is overseeing what will be a weeks-long process of getting players and coaches back in action.
We're provided guidelines by the state of Indiana, by Marion County, by the University of Indianapolis, and as long as we can operate within those guidelines, we can be creative in allowing our student athletes opportunities.
The multi-layered approach comes from a couple of angles. First is the now standard practices of wearing masks during downtime and extra sanitizing of facilities.
The new protocols that have been put in place by our athletic training staff and team physicians are they're minorly inconvenient. So the temperature checks, we have a daily health questionnaire that the girls fill out.
The other comes in the form of timing. Teams are returning only on certain weeks, and upperclassmen only before freshmen come to campus.
We're asking our athletes to kind of try and stay quarantined as best possible and still live their lives, but do their best to try and avoid the big groups and all that. And so far, it's been great.
For the teams that are already working, it's also a numbers game. Football workouts that may have previously included half the team are now reduced to groups of 10 or less.
The biggest challenge, as I think it has been for everybody else, is that just as soon as you have something in place and you have all the answers, then the protocols change and then the systems change.
We're all anxious to get back, and so we want to do what we can to follow those rules so that way we can continue to move forward.
And there are still so many questions to be answered. Seasons may be delayed, conference games only, perhaps moving all of this to the spring.
Everybody's been gone, but they're also very understanding that the decisions we make now will make major impacts on our fall seasons.
And that's pretty much the mood for now. Be ready for anything, even if that anything ends up being nothing for now. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
It is time for the RTV6 photo of the day. Check this out, a picture of 4 owls sitting together. Jeffrey and Bonnie Johnson took this picture right outside their back door in Muncie.
Yeah, it's hard enough to find one owl out in nature, but to spot 4 together just outside your home, that's pretty amazing. Who would have thunk it? Send in your photo of the day. Just email it to news@WRTV.com.
You've been waiting all day for that, Mark.
I had to go find the 4th one. I saw the 3 on top of the handle and then the 4th. For us, you don't have to go look for rain tonight, and it probably won't find you. Temperatures, they'll be in the middle to upper 70s. That's all for the news at